it's empathy, and it's a beautiful thing. But you have to walk away completely, go in your house, turn on the TV, and just go back and check. And if they're sleeping and clean and happy, it means mom came while you're watching Price is Right or whatever, you know. So she's back and coming and visiting. But walk away completely. Don't participate in that disconnect of mom. Another thing that's really sad, I get really sad on behalf of the mothers. Yeah. You're a hard-working mama cat. You're out there getting whatever you can to eat so you can produce milk for your 6 kids. You're out there, that's your number one priority. They're your whole life, your whole world, and somebody takes your kittens away. What can happen is, not only is it upsetting for the mom, she'll go right back into heat almost immediately, okay? So at least the nursing process prolongs that a little bit. Another thing that can happen is a very, very painful condition called mastitis. So once the kittens are at 2 weeks, and depending on the number, the milk production, like as Sally talked about the mLs and the ounces and things, the milk production builds as they build. And if you pull kittens away, think about how much milk is not being expressed from that mom cat. The pain is tremendous, and it can also cause a life-threatening infection for her. So that's why we really, really encourage act when you need to act. Even if mom does come back, still keep an eye. Don't let her have another litter of kittens. We have a program called Fixiary. We'll help you with that TNR. TNR means trap, neuter, return. Let her live her life. Get her spayed, get her a rabies shot. No more kittens. But you know, never leave, no mom left behind, okay? Make sure that you always think about her too, because even though you solved the immediate problem, you're not preventing the fire. You gotta stop the mom from doing it again, so.
And the other thing, you know, like she said, if you're hovering, then mom will feel that her kittens are in danger and she'll move them.
I like the idea. I hadn't heard the flower thing before, so I was wondering like, how long of undisturbed flower should start a worry.
About your 6 to 8 hours, and that's not. We want them fed every hour, every 2 when we're doing the stand-in care. But a natural kitten situation, mom can be away for 6 hours. If she's distracted or something happens, she'll always come back, and they're usually okay. But that's just a telltale test. You should never let them really go 6 hours, but in this situation, just to test it out, you can go that long, and it'll be okay. Yeah, and then they need to eat real quick after that. So.
Yeah, but you'll know they need to eat after 6 hours, because they'll let you know.
Yeah,
there'll
be no doubt in your mind.
Right.
Holiday, did you have something you wanted to say? No, you're good?
Right. There was probably something, but it's
I
gone.
thought we were going to talk about weaning time.
Wean?
Yes.
This one's not ready to wean. All I want to do is suck on a nipple.
Well, we'll talk about weaning time a little bit. So the magic time is weaning time, when whatever time you get back from bottle feeding, you make up for in cleaning them up, okay? Because they'll make a tremendous mess. You'll make something called a slurry, which is pate kitten food and formula. And it'll look kind of like a pate milkshake. And you're gonna put that out on a saucer, and the kittens are all gonna be excited, and they're gonna come bobbling over, and they're gonna stand in the middle, and they're gonna splash it all over the place and just have goop but they're very proud of themselves. And like I said, let them eat, let them have a great time. You're gonna be doing more baths, but eventually they'll be more neat about it. And the neat thing about their biology is the moment that they can self-feed, they can self-poop and pee. So again, there's your cleanup time. Make sure you have the puppy pads out. They'll start to get interested in a litter box. When you have kittens this size, don't use the scoopable litter, because it's got particulate matter in there that binds. We don't want them swallowing that, because it could cause an obstruction. So just get the plain old cheap clay litter, because it's not going to expand or contract. It's still not great to have it consumed, but it won't hurt them.
They don't usually mess with that too much.
They don't mess with it too much. Every once in a while, you know, they might
Hey.
play in there.
I will say that, like at 3 weeks, I start putting a small litter box in with them so they can start walking through it and horsing around. And something I had to do with these guys, because I've got a couple that are fairly clueless. I took some of their urine and just put a tiny bit on the inside of the litter box, and then that solved the problem. They went right to it every time. So it's something to consider. Like after you simulate them, take a Kleenex and just put a, wipe a little on the plastic, and they'll probably start using it. But I put it in, like I said, around 3 weeks, sometimes 2.5 weeks, depending on how they're doing. And that's when you're moving them into a bigger crate. And you want to make a small, like I use a small plastic container, because if it's too big, they can't get in and out of it because they're too little. So, does anybody have any questions before we get to the fun part? Yes.
How much do the syringes you use to feed them normally cost?
Just,
What's that?
how much do the syringes cost?
Oh, they're not very much money. So the syringes are just $1 or $2. We're going to show you something here that is a really great product. This was designed by a wildlife rehabber. It's called the Miracle Nipple, and it's kind of a funny name, but it really is a miracle. Okay. These come with a syringe. You can order them on Amazon. And the nipple is such that kittens will generally take to this. This is the short or kitten size one. Here is the traditional one, and most mammal babies will take to it, including raccoons, possums. Again, designed by a wildlife rehabber.
It's coming.
There are a lot of knockoffs. I like the brand name because they last for a long time. You can sanitize these and use them over
Till they chew them off.
Till they start getting their teeth and start chewing on them. But these are fantastic. You can find them on Amazon. In a pinch, Walmart does have those bottle sets. It looks like a doll baby bottle. I never had a lot of luck with them. You can use them, but you have to watch the flow, because those ones want you to pierce the nipple on it. And you have to be very careful so that you don't make too big of a hole and it's gushing, and then we worry about the aspiration and things like that. But these are fabulous.
I want to say something. Those syringes that come with the Miracle Nipples, the plunger on those syringes only has a strip of rubber around the top of the plunger, as opposed to most syringes that you would buy. They have a big piece of rubber.
That glides better.
Those glide way better. Like it's not even worth it to get something else unless the plunger has just the smallest amount of rubber. Because those just, when a kitten gets a good suck on, they can just pull it in right themselves, and you don't even have to do anything because it glides so smoothly.
May I add a comment? When I do my bottle feeding, I do use those bottles, actual like baby bottles. They told you not to, but I do. But I use the Miracle Nipples, and you can, when you open it up like a normal baby bottle, you can pop those fake ones off and put the Miracle Nipple on there instead. And that's what I've been using. And it's been working very fine for me.
You hungry?
So where would we get them so last minute? If we're not prepared, where can you just conveniently get?
Miracle Nipples, I think you can probably only get on Amazon. You can probably only buy those online.
And we share supplies. If somebody writes to us urgently, we can meet people here and give you some powdered formula and give you a syringe and a nipple to use. So we have
several.
supplies.
We usually have, a halfway decent amount of sets of nipples and syringes. so.
And you said you can reuse those ones?
Yes, yeah, you just
How do you
wanna,
normally sterilize them?
I run mine through the dishwasher in the silverware, folder, and that works great. If not, you can use a little bit of white vinegar and hot water and soak them just in case there's any crusting of the formula. The secret is to rinse them right when you're done, and so you don't get that crusty,
Yeah, okay.
I
Don't-
rinse them in as hot water as my
Yeah.
fingers can stand.
Yeah.
And don't
Right away.
soak the syringe because
yeah.
it will mess up the rubber.
The rubber will start to degrade if you do that.
Okay, so, any other questions before we get to this part and this kitten chews my finger off? He's
Give me my
hungry.
food.
Yeah, well, he's teething too, so that doesn't help. Okay, so, so does somebody want to come up and try this? Or
Yeah,
shall
we
I
can
go
take
to
one
you?
volunteer. We're gonna ask you to use hand sanitizer and,
I'll show you how, and then I will let you finish the syringe. How's that?
Okay, so
I
let me
find
get you
on
the-
the really little ones, the shorter syringe works better. Like when I have like a newborn, those long ones, it's halfway down her throat,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
do so.
And
Okay,
you can go
dinner's
behind the
coming.
bar with Sally, so she's right next to you, and I'm gonna get you some hand sanitizer.
Well, I can come around that side if it's easier. I can come around. Right, he's like, I don't care how you do this, just feed me. Okay, buddy.
Hold up here.
Yeah, I'll come this way, then I can help everybody.
It's coming, buddy.
Okay, so,
This is gonna negatively affect your Yelp review.
so you wanna fill this up, and you're going to, warm the formula. When you make the formula, I make enough for a couple of feedings. You have to keep it in the refrigerator though. And then, I don't know if people aren't gonna be able to see very well. I'll let everybody try some. So, this guy's pretty good about standing and doing that. And you just let him go down. It's not always this easy. I will tell you, like when you first get them and they haven't eaten on their own, they will be flailing their arms. Now typically what I do is I hold them like this and feed them, but putting them on the ground works too. So I'm gonna let you try it, see how you do. So you're gonna wanna hold, are you left-handed or right? All right, so you wanna hold them this way. I don't think it's gonna be too hard to get him to eat, honestly. Come on, buddy. And no, let him, you're not gonna push it, you let him do it. Okay. Yeah. The only time I will apply pressure to the syringe is once in a while it'll get a little stuck if you've been using the syringe. And I hold them like this because you have much more control.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, that's okay, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, I will sometimes, like if they're sucking, but like they're not, they have not got a good suction on the nipple, they'll just be sucking like air through their lips instead. If you
this is
just
gonna
like
mess him
tap
up,
the
isn't it?
end of the plunger, it's just enough to like remind them that there's formula in there. And then
People can just like rotate around here if you want. I think it would just be easier. Because generally you're sitting when you do this. So who wants to try it next? You want to? All right, so I'm left-handed, so that's probably not helping you guys. And sometimes, like when I'm holding them, I'll just show you real quick. I try and put my one hand here to control their head isn't going all over the place. It makes it easier. He's easy. And they'll a lot of times hold the bottle. When you first get them, they're usually flailing all over the place. The big problem with mine was that they were used to kneading on their mom, so they had to figure out what to do with their hands when I was feeding them. Sometimes you have to like twirl this around to get it out of their mouth because they. Can you hold on to them? I'll get some more formula here.
Wow.
I'm making this hard on you, aren't I? Yeah.
Figuring it out.
Okay, who's the next victim? The important thing is don't feed him on his back and don't push in on the syringe.
Yeah, he's got a good
Yeah, he's really good.
I didn't know he had such a good section on her.
Yeah. Now, two of mine that I have, they're not, they horse around, and that's, I don't want to bring them. He's getting tired, he's laying down.
I just can't. I'm afraid you're gonna take it away.
No, 'cause it's empty.
Again.
So see, it's not too bad, really.
Yeah, he has a very good
Hold
section.
on.
I think the hardest part about this is it is a time commitment. I mean, like, they have to be fed every 2 hours. They have to be in the beginning. It's not optional. Because I've had people say, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then I'm like, okay, can you do this 24/7? Well, no, I work, and I'm like,
That's okay.
he's like, this is all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the foster didn't feed him much before he came, so that he'd be good and hungry. Pull those down.
The ears.
All right,
You wanna try?
I would love to.
I
Okay.
should go up there and we'll slide him over. Shannon, you wanna try?
Yeah, I'll move.
Where's the new
Hold on.
Sorry.
No worries.
I think this is just
Oh, his
easier
belly's
that
out.
way, and you come.
Belly's getting big.
Yeah, we have another kitten to feed you. I'm probably going to switch.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're, wow, okay.
Do you want me to get you the
It's
kitten
going
now?
fast.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And then I could probably talk somebody into holding this kitten while we're feeding the others.
I will. You want to fetch the kitten yet? I don't. I'll
Oh, yeah, very quickly.
Yeah.
Down, but. Or she, whatever.
Oh.
Shannon, you wanna try? Yes. Absolutely.
We have 2 blankets here,
Okay,
so.
just come over. Just maybe move your way more that way. Just watch you do this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure there's a bit of a learning curve when it's a kitten, not as bit of an expert.
Well, it is, but you will have support if you know, are having
Just
trouble.
work your way
then
over,
let
they'll
us
let you
know.
Are you guys always available? Like, what if the kids are
Well,
gone?
what we're gonna do, I was asking Jessica, we're gonna give everybody my phone number. I'm a critical care foster, and this is what I do, so I will probably want it easier. And that way you can get a hold of me, I'm retired, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of me. All right, who wants to try next?
Yeah.
You wanna come over here and try?
Just go sit in that chair.
Chairs
She's,
and.
yeah, we'll have to move.
Shannon, wait till they do it, and then, well, you can sit down,
Go
hon,
ahead.
I think. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll be over right after. This kitten hasn't eaten either.
Okay.
Don't worry.
There'll be plenty.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
I love feeding kittens.
This is not what's going
I just don't want to burn you.
I do it this way because then they have some extra
Right,
stuff.
right.
And when they're new to bottle feeding, sometimes they're flailing all over the place.
Right.
It's a little easier to control them this way. Hey. No, don't be chewing. See, this is
Yeah, that
what
one's
goes
too.
through.
Poor mom.
Especially once they start
Well,
getting their teeth, yeah, it hurts.
No wonder they waffle more.
Right.
You're weaning.
Now this one, I want to show you something, and then I'll let you feed them. If you're having trouble with them latching on and eating, you can go in from the side and just give them a tiny bit of formula, and sometimes that'll be enough to get them going. You never want to go in from the front if you're going to, use the plunger a little bit. And see, he's getting it. I don't know why he's being this way. I was told he's really good at this.
Put it in the side, then it kind of goes in the cheek and things.
Right, it doesn't go directly down their throat or around them. I don't know why he's doing this, but he's teething. They're all teething, so they get cranky with that.
The same thing we should do with meds is put it in
Yep.
our cheek pouch instead of.
Are you gonna do it the right way? Because this isn't helpful for training.
So what's the problem here? What's the not right way?
He is not latching on for whatever reason.
He's kind of chewing on
He's
one.
chewing because he's teething,
Okay.
and they get to the point where they start that with the nipple. He's obviously not to that point yet.
Yeah.
He's happy enough with that.
Okay? It's okay, it'll be okay, I'll be right here. Come on. There you go. Hold your hand up a little bit, it makes it a little easier.
Angle it up. Angle the.
This is not a good kid. Here, let's try this kid. So she, this is a reject kid.
Reject kid. Come here, reject. It's like, are you dying? Maybe it'll be alright.
I'll be in a minute, buddy.
Oh my goodness, reject.
So much drama, man.
I'm here, try this one. This one will be much more satisfying. See? You can do it.
Yeah, it's just the kitten.
It's the
And
kid.
as you become more experienced, that it will
You
get
find ways
easier.
to get around that.
Yeah.
And when they're teething, they start chewing instead of drinking.
I think she was just nervous.
Also,
How's that?
Yeah, you're
They're
not.
pretty resilient.
I don't know if you can handle full blown fostering.
So what do you think? Is
Try.
that fine?
I'll see if I can give it to her.
You got some little daggers on you.
Have fun.
So is this one,
Huh?
so is this one, little dagger as well?
The dew claws are particularly dangerous.
I just trimmed them last week for her.
I didn't even notice on that one. It was so like light.
Yeah, yeah.
Even they don't have to touch the
Like all
fur.
of those plus a spice.
You can get it good.
Oh my gosh. Those eyes though.
And there's 3 more of them at my house. One looks like this one and acts like this one. And then I have one that looks like that, and then I have a really big one.
Different daddy, probably.
I
Well,
tried.
look at how much bigger outfit
Yeah.
than the rest.
Yeah. And he might have had a different name.
Although he looks just like the male.
Because the little girl that I have looks exactly like that, and then everybody else is.
What does the mom look
I think she's all black.
like? Okay, that
That's
makes
why-
sense. So the
Because I've never actually seen
they all look like mom except for Albert.
except
who
for
looks like
Albert.
daddy.
There's no question.
Yeah, he's done.
And he's not been back.
He looks like a cat a couple years
Hit it and
ago.
quit it.
He looks like a cat I almost got a couple years ago. A friend of mine raised some of my kittens, and his name was Mouse. It was a little gray one, and I paid for like everything. My parents wouldn't let me have this.
So we tried this one, and then we'll go back
My
to
friend
that
raised
one.
like kittens, and the
If
gray
you
one.
just need a kitten that isn't cat, that walks for me. Shannon.
You need hand sanitizer, Sally? You need the hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a split litter right
Holiday
now. She has
hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
and they're big. How old would you say?
I think they're probably 9 meters. 8 or 9 inches.
Not big.
Can I watch you feed the other kid?
Which is fine.
She's
a
a lot smaller than he is. I think she's about the size of yours.
And mine, 2 are like significantly bigger.
Yeah.